What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 77 of my Total Warhammer 3 of Vlad and Isabella Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Reichland has nearly been destroyed, Altdorf and Marienburg have both fallen, and their territories are down to, I want to say, 4, with us moving in with several armies as well, ready to take their stuff. In addition to that, we've nearly got Manny destroyed. He has one little army remaining here, and a settlement, as well as another army back there. It also might be that he's trying to take Orion's camp, which would be a little bit annoying, because we did try to send Draika down there, but, well, I suppose that order never went away, so hopefully she continues on her way. Now, we do still need to destroy Manny, but unfortunately, Big Bird is kind of in the way, so it might be that Bathilda's going to have to destroy these guys first. Also, we saw the destruction of Lamia with Peter von Carstein taking it over, though he will probably have to fight this little army belonging to the Caravan of Blue Roses, and next he still has quite a lot of Lamia to clear out, or the Court of Libaras, rather, to clear out. Maybe if we could get an army to join him and help out, that might be decent as well. Now, let's see what we gotta do this turn. I do remember that Renki still has to fight, and... okay, Wallach, you're heading out to heal, you're fine. Yeah, Renki and Roddy were looking to fight some Chaos forces, and were we about to get attacked anywhere? I was potentially planning on building a force here to attack Yeti Peak, so that we didn't have to send any of our ghoul armies down, and that would be ideal as well. Let's see, Dirk Berkmere, he still has to head back to the Tower of Crack, as I do imagine that Be'lakor is going to come after it shortly. Though Be'lakor could also go to Norden, and frankly I don't see Otto defending it. I guess we could get some ghouls and some other stuff in here. I do wonder if he can get there in one turn or not. Can Salzenman defend itself? Probably not against a full stack. Well, it's not a super strong stack, so maybe. Norden definitely can't. It's basically got nothing, and it would be a field battle on top of all that. Erengrad is fine, and maybe we'd even get some help from our garbage little vassal here, who actually still has some armored Khazars now, which I just find incredibly bizarre that after all this time. But anyway, let's get that little army up and running with regards to you. Wait. Waller. You may have to defend against this. Is there another possible army that we could get here?
This night?
Or do we just stick to one? Henry should be fine. I'm a little bit worried about Springs of Eternal Life, because if Manny attacks it, the garrison here is not enough to defend it. I suppose we could lose the settlement instead. But honestly, if we have a little army that destroys Manny's army, it wouldn't be too bad either. You know what? Maybe. Maybe we do this temporarily. Is there any lord that we could get here? Diedrich, another vampire lord? No, I don't think anybody's good. At least nobody's free. Alrighty, and Maldwin's not ready yet. We still have to build our Air Force army. That's taken a while. And I don't like the stats of any of these guys, unfortunately. And I actually don't like any of the stats of anybody around here. Especially as there's no way that they will be fighting Manny this way. Alrighty, I guess we could just go for a standard vampire lord. Or we could just not bother. What's the likelihood that he actually attacks this? I mean, he could try for Khemri, but he can't actually take Khemri, which tends to mean to me that he will probably give this a try. Alrighty, screw it. Let's get a Strigoi Ghoul King. They're kind of the most expensive here. There's a disciplined one. Well, they're pretty good at fighting. Let's go for you. Ouch. Oh, 3k per turn, and we will raise you some stuff. Namely a Crypt Horror, a couple Corpse Carts, definitely a couple Skellies, and then a giant pile of zombies. Do we want to get maybe a single unit of Cairn Wraiths just to deal with Manny, or to help out with him? Maybe, but nah, it might not also be super necessary. You know what, let's get a couple of ghouls instead to add some poison into this, and then fill the rest up with zombies. There we go. And you're at 15. Is he going to attack this like this? We'd still have a very difficult time bringing down the Vargolf and the Vargheists. Although I think they would be brought down over time. I don't want to waste money on Blood Knights here. Yeah, you know what, screw it. Let's get the Cairn Wraiths. Get the Cairn Wraiths. They're half the cost. And I guess fill up the rest of the army with a bunch of other units. Do we need doggos here? Probably not. I think that's good enough. Good enough. And honestly, if it dies, it dies. I don't really care that much. Then we can get you Invocation of Nehek and Command of the Command of the Unliving or Spirit Leech. So Command of the Unliving isn't as good as Raise Dead because it only summons Crypt Ghouls. You have 15 mana. You know what, I think we need the Spirit Leech more, as odd as that may seem. Alrighty, and then we might as well just upgrade the place while we're here. Khemri also will potentially need an upgrade, but we'll deal with that once we figure out whether we have enough money. Now we need to do the exact same thing here at Titan's Notch. Of course, we'll be deleting some of these armies fairly shortly, but, well, we'll give it some time. Let's see. You are at rank 3, I guess everybody comes up at rank 3, eh? Could be a Master Necromancer for this. I don't really care about Confident, the leadership in the army doesn't really help us. Nah, it still should probably be a Vampire, then. Let's get you. And the Necrarch with the Strategist. Why? Because it can move a little bit further and we might send it to occupy this so that we could trade it to our Elven allies. You are gonna get to yourself some Raised Dead as well. And let's say, a couple ghouls, some skellies, like so. And what do we have? 19 out of 20, eh? What do we have here in terms of the defenses? Oh, there's a unit of Iron Guts there. Well, I guess the Crypt Cores would be able to bring them down. I don't really want to spend the unit on Bloodheads. You know what? Stay here for one turn. If we need them, we'll raise them next turn. But they can't attack this now anyway, so we're good. That's going to cost us about 10,000 gold over the next turn, so we need to get that back and delete them. Now that that's done and prepared for, let's have you two attack. We could have each of them deal with one of the armies. Might make for a nicer fight. Is either one of these too easy? Looks like the Norscan one is pretty darn weak here, by the looks of it, whereas you're much better. You got Chaos Knights, you got some Chaos Warriors and stuff. Although you do have some Marauder Champions and Marauder Berserkers. I'm just wondering who to send where. You know what, I figure we send Roderick to fight the Norskins. Although you, Renki, you only have the one Mortis engine, which by spreading out, we could deal with this more, but all those Chaos spawns seem to mean we probably want to make more use of our Crypt Quarters. Honestly, I don't think it matters that much. You, attack. Attack, and he will move. Oh, well, if they're gonna fight together, then we will fight them together. Yeah, looks like they're gonna fight together. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. Kill this with an auto-resolve real quick. No, you're gonna run too? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fine. Then we will have... Who do we want as a reinforcement, then? I guess we want Roderick as the reinforcement. Rod, move up here. Because your stuff moves faster, and then... I can't actually tell if you're close enough. I think you might not be. We have to maybe attack the Chaos Force here. Yeah, okay, so Roderick is not close enough to Charon, so let's attack Mr. Golgast here instead. We could also level them, but I don't really see the need, to be honest. And is he's also going to... Oh, you little coward! Ah, but he's not gonna run far enough, so it matters not. You... Wait, are you close? Oh, you need to move closer, don't you? And this is kind of irritating, but whatever. Whatever, okay, you go here for a second. Took way too much effort. 15 units lost, too. Alright, then I want Roddy... Wait. Why did that little army run away further? What the heck is going on here? It didn't fight in this. That's weird. Why did it move? Ooh, we got a Staff of Damnation and a Tormentor Sword out of that? Amazing. And we succeeded in a mission. What the heck is going on? Unfortunately, we didn't get any new missions, but whatever. Damn, prepping for this battle, taking ages. Okay, Assassin. You can't move. Okay, fine, fine, fine. Let's put Roderick here. Close enough, hopefully. And Renki attack Golgast. There we go. Pyrrhic victory at that with 2 versus 2. Ooh. Golgast. Oh, right, they're a Tzeentchian faction. They have Storm of Fire available to them. Oh, this should actually be very interesting. I hadn't thought of that. They have full mana as well, so he'll be able to cast lots of Searing Doom. The Storm of Fire should be quite dangerous to the Graveguard and the Skeletons as well. And the AI cheats and always has access to these, unlike the player. Lovely. Alright, I'm hoping for a glorious battle. Double ghoul time. Here we go. Alrighty, it is done, or it will be done, hopefully quite a bit, by our Vargheist. I think this should be pretty interesting in part because the Vargheist, or Vargulfs, no, the Terrorgheists. Too many Geists and Gulfs. Yeah, so this will be, I think, maybe the first time that all 6 of our Terrorgheists are functioning together from the onset. Usually one of these armies reinforces the other, but this time they will all be working together. A little bit of a mini doom stack of Terrorgheists, a Terrorgheist swarm, if you will, to, well, we'll see how effective it is. Though, considering that they've been pretty effective when it's just been the 3 of them, I do imagine that with 6, it'll be quite a bit effective as well. Now, the rest of our army is also going to march up, but they will be slow at doing it because they have 4 slow corpse cart necromancers in tow. I'm going to speed it up a little bit while our army gets into position. Okay, my computer... oh, computer's having a bit of a difficult time handling this. Too many units on the field at the same time. But I think we're okay. Alright, well, here come the Terrorgheists. Not going to even bother breathing, mostly because we don't want to get distracted. There's a little isolated blob of Dolgan units, including a lot of Marauder Hunters with javelins, that we probably want to silence so that they don't damage our Terrorgheists. The rest of the enemy armies are trying to deploy just like we are, though we have now started to move. And we got a nice little front line here. Our skeletons, Graveguard, Corpse Carts, and of course our Mortis Engines out front with the piles upon piles of Crypt Horrors moving in the background. Man, it's also the first time we've had this many Crypt Horrors on the field at once. Isn't it lovely? Alright, anyway, here comes the Terrorgheist swarm. Pick some units, land, and then start killing. Of course, these guys aren't going to be nearly as infantry blendy as a dragon might be, but they're still pretty darn okay. They're also not going to be able to take too much advantage of their anti-large in this blob here. But it does seem like some Chaos Knights are probably on the way. It looks like the enemy has also brought both of its lords out to play, and this is not a place where they want to be. That will allow us to use our anti-large, and we've got 2 vampire lords, both of which can cast a spirit leeches on enemy. Plus one of them is a master of the black arts as well, so lots and lots, potentially, of spirit leeches. 2 of our Vargheists are a little bit isolated though, so we're going to back them off so that they don't get surrounded by the Chaos Knights and move them into this blob to work together with the rest while we try to kill the enemy lords. And while our army still very, very slowly approaches. And let's see, looks like the enemy is going to cast a little something. It's going to cast Searing Doom on top of us. Okay, I'm sure that'll very slightly hurt our Terrorgeists, but I feel like it'll hurt the enemy more. We also have doubled Command of the Unliving, which means suddenly there are 32 Crypt Horrors in the middle of all this. Of course they'll die, but I would imagine that the time will run out long before they actually die, though I suppose it depends on how many Searing Dooms the enemy does cast upon them. And man, yeah, we are certainly surrounded here, but our Terrorgheists look to be pretty okay, especially since they prevent other units from surrounding each other. They're guarding each other's flanks. Nice little army of Terrorgheists. And let's see what we're looking at here. The enemy is actually starting to take quite a bit of damage already. One of their lords is below half HP and the other one is steadily dropping. Our Terrorgeists are mostly fine except this one, which we should be able to heal without too much trouble, especially as it hasn't reached its healing cap. The enemy has lost about 250 units only so far, so not really a lot, though the damage is certainly there. I feel like a lot of the damage is also not coming just from the Terrorgeists, but also from the enemy casting spells upon itself. And man, look at all those Chaos Spawn and Chaos Knights just trying to get into the fray here. And obviously, we're not going to be using any damaging spells because the enemy's swarmed around us, and I don't want to take advantage of this. Though, of course, we could with a couple. We have access to 4 Winds of Death in this army, don't we? From our Necromancers. if we wanted to, we could probably clear this in just a couple spell uses. Especially as I believe we had pretty much maxed wins. By the time we reached the enemy, we had 80 or so available to us. Anyway, the Spirit Leeches, as I was saying earlier, keep on coming down. The first of the enemy lore drops, and the second one should be just about done as well. No more Chaos Sorcerer means no more Searing Doom, though, and I think, ironically, the enemy army might be a little bit happier about that. Ooh, there we go. Finally found a good angle where we can watch the Terrorgheists fight the Chaos Spawn at least, and we can also watch our army slowly get closer and closer to the enemy. They're almost here, in fact. A lot of Chaos Spawn. Alrighty, and also we have some units to the flanks, and our Mortis engines are now getting ready to charge in. The second enemy lord has dropped. We're still surrounded by an absolutely massive blob of units, and here come the Mortis engines, which should be able to apply quite a lot of damage to us. And the rest of our army is arriving as well. And here come more Crypt Horror summons as well, as the enemy just tries to, well, focuses them down and completely wastes its own time. There we go, 3 Mortis engines are in, and the rest of our army is nearly in. Everybody's about to get surrounded by piles of Crypt Horrors as well, so it'll be concentric circles, as we've done before with Death Stars, with our Terrorgheist in the center, piles of chaos around them, then our own piles of Crypt Horrors and our Mortis engines around them. In fact, with our army charging in, the balance of power has shifted further and the enemy numbers have started to drop very significantly, and a lot of the enemy units just straight up decided to run the heck out of there. They may not be wanting to fight this too much. Once again, these shots they do feel like they could function as an artwork piece. It's definitely reminiscent, in my opinion, of the type of artwork that we get a lot for the various Warhammers of any type, whether it be Classic, which is this one, and 40k and Age of Sigmar. Alrighty, well, it looks like a decent amount of the enemy are routing, but of course we have the numbers now, so Terrorgheists, Vargheist as well, and Crypt Horrors can give chase to the enemy. There are still a fair few fighting, although not nearly as many, and the enemy troops have dropped by about 1,000 now. The balance of power is also at an absolute sliver. I also want to point out that the enemy army actually, both enemy armies rather, they ran away, so this means that if these guys get off the field, they're destroyed. We don't actually have to put our units around them and keep them here and kill them all. We just have to force them all off the field, which certainly works in our favor. A lot of Chaos Spawn that we have to kill to a spawn, though. Because, of course, they're unbreakable. I always love the Mortis engines. The way that they float over the battlefield is just so fantastic. Makes some amazing shots. Alrighty, let's see what we're looking... What a glorious battle, though. I mean, tactically, to be fair, not super interesting, but from just a sheer chaotic battle perspective, pretty great. Your masters do desert you. They have deserted you. And this is why you're dying. And of course, now that our Necromancers are here, we have 4 units to continuously summon zombies on top of the enemy, just over and over and over again. And now we seem to be outnumbering them with sheer zombie power, if nothing else. Most of the Crypt Horrors are, or not Crypt Horrors, the Chaos Spawn are dropping as well. Of course, our Terrorgheist being anti-large, probably kill a Chaos Spawn with every single hit. And I do believe the battle is ours. I keep confusing Chaos Spawn with Crypt Horrors because, well, we've been saying Crypt Horrors throughout the entire campaign, so it just comes naturally to the tongue. Anyway, a decisive victory, and I think we suffered barely any losses. The Terrorgheist Swarm probably took the brunt of the damage there, and then once the enemy had surrounded us, we simply surrounded them and destroyed them. So it all worked out pretty well. And when these I didn't expect these armies to ever function together, but, you know, fate brought them together, and they're certainly doing well. Damn, my computer could barely handle that. Way too many units on the field. Good job to the Terrorgheist swarm, though. I guess that was the first time we really saw it in action all together at the same time, and it was pretty damn effective. I guess if we were to take the Terrorgheist swarm alone, it's nearly half of an all Terrorgheist Doom stack, which is pretty significant, but this is one of the very rare times, well, they'll be operating together. Or I guess nearly a third of a Terrorgheist Doom stack. At the end of the day, it's only 6 of them, but still, they were very effective. We cannot heal, and there's no point in doing so, because we lost 5 units for all that. Let's return the captives for the tiny amount of cash, and let's keep going. Alright, enemies killed in battle and armored of silvered steel, some missions successful as well. Now, here's the question, do we push both of you into these territories? Maybe we send both of them to the Fortress of Eyes, and then have the other one take Bloodwind Keep and the Red Fortress, while the other one starts moving back up this way. We also don't want to spend too much time in the enemy territories either. I suppose we can vampirate, whatever, the territory of the Fortress of Eyes so that it isn't Chaos Corrupted, and then we will move on otherwhere? Yeah. That's the way to do it. You know what, don't collect the income, stay as you are. We cannot go into raiding stance, at least not with you, unfortunately. You could return to the Volery. You could go to raiding, though. Alright, that'll keep you nice and healthy. Alright, and that'll be on your way to the Fortress of Eyes, which will, wow, that'll take a long time to get there. I'm almost tempted to ignore the fact that we're going into attrition territory and just take the attrition then. You know what, move out in march stance. What's the likelihood these guys attack you? They can't reach you. It's actually this is a deceptively long path to the Fortress of Eyes, so I guess that's the way we'll do it. We do have to watch out for armies moving out from the Dolgan to take these things, which is another reason why it might be beneficial not to send both of them there, but we'll see what happens next turn. Alrighty, speaking of next turn, let's see if there's anything else that we need to do this turn. Aldous is still raiding and is still on the way to Greyling Moot and then the Monolith of Bjorkhill for that sweet 17k raid. Sacking, rather. Ermine still hurt, but potentially will be fighting Archaon soon. Otto still has to stay where he is, and I believe we're good. Alrighty. Let's see where money needs to be spent then. First of all, Marineburg. We definitely don't want to be losing you. Let's get some dies and let's get that Ghost Fence. We'll get the growth from taking Gorselinar now, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Karlberg. Yeah, I guess we can upgrade Karlberg. You actually don't need the Crypt Keepers here. And we can also start on that Foster Terror as well. Yeah, you can have a Lich Yard, why not? Grow the place faster. Even if it won't be that fast. Middenheim. Do you need to keep the Crypt Keepers for yourself? I mean, you know what, maybe. The thing is, you know what, no, keep the Crypt Keepers, both of you. It's the plague reduction that I'm concerned with. There are still plagues happening, and they could still spread, damn it. Damn those plagues. Hopefully they'll disappear soon. Alrighty, and Brass Keep, I guess you can keep that thing as well. Alrighty, let's see what else we can build. The Volery will be ignoring. Troll Country we will be continuing to ignore. And now I'm kind of on the fence. Maybe we do give them back to this little minor faction since they're willing to build an army now. And Kislev is moving out this way, although I still think we probably will want to help them out. They will probably lose some fights eventually, and they surprisingly only have 2 armies. I guess they are building a couple half-stacks here. This is so useless. Put them into one army, send them north. Accomplish something with it, damn it. Why must you be so useless when you're our ally? But at least they're still doing something. Anyway, Death Gorge. We want to upgrade these skeletal walls as you're probably eventually going to get attacked. So let's upgrade those. And if we're collecting income anyway, we might as well go for Gibbet. And I believe that's about all we can build right now. I guess we could build dies at Carrick Ziflin, but I think we need growth more, which we cannot afford, so therefore we go dies. Alright. That's all of our cash. Let's double check quickly if there's any deals we could make with anybody that we want to make deals with. Nobody wants anything to do with us with regards to non-aggression, but I mean, just look at all the diplomacy. Look at all this war. Got a decent amount of military alliances, a very decent amount of vassals as well, I think, for a Vlad campaign, in my opinion. Usually everybody hates the undead. And oh, Last Defenders, minus 3.3 on that military access. There's certainly potential there if we can maybe even give them some stuff or join war, but it won't be this turn. You're still alive, but still probably not for much longer, and I believe that's it. Just looking at the peace out options, Drakenhof Conclave. No, still no on the Confederation, so if you won't join us, Manny, then you will die. Alrighty. Let's skip the rest of that. We will potentially be attacked here at the Springs of Eternal Life. Let's find out if we do. Or if we are attacked, that is. Oh, and we still have to take the damn Black Pyramid of Nagash. I think Arkan is now at war with the Sentinels, maybe, so we really don't want him to take that. We also really need to send Rudy up north to help Nagaroth. Once again, not so much because I care about our elves dying, but, you know, they are providing tribute. Reichland, oh, you want peace now? Now that you're completely destroyed, you want peace. I feel like factions don't sue for peace quickly enough in this, and oh, wait, what? Huh. Manny didn't have this many units. That's interesting. We may have to fight to the death here. I thought he had way less units than this. Oh, he raised bats and some skeletons. Okay, but at least it wasn't elites. Well, we'll give this a try. No guarantee we can win it, but if these guys fight to the death, they fight to the death. This guy was a temporary summon anyway. Not a big deal. Well, let's see if we can accomplish anything. Yeah. Alrighty, here we are, a half HP elite army belonging to Manfred versus a full HP completely garbage army belonging to random summon lord Jurgen. We'll see what we can do here. And we will have a fairly decent position in the form of forming up on top of this ridgeline here, as we can see, though of course we don't have any ranged units to really take advantage of this. At the very least, the enemy will be forced to fight uphill. We are primarily here looking to force the enemy to waste their time fighting this massive blob of zombies and skeletons. While they waste their time, this is our little elite squad. 2 units of Crypt Ghouls, 1 unit of Crypt Horrors, 1 unit of Cairn Wraiths, plus our leader Jurgen, the Strigoi as well. These guys are going to go around and try to work together to essentially kill elite units, well, quote-unquote elite units, by themselves. So find and kill those Black Knights and those Hex Wraiths and whatnot, and then if we can manage to do so, Manfred as well. These guys will be the damage dealers, everybody else hold this ridge. Plus, of course, we do have our 2 corpse carts, which are probably pretty darn instrumental to this victory. They will keep the rest of our units up much longer if the AI is not smart enough to have Manny drop down and kill them. Oh, and it looks like Manny's going to target one of the corpse carts with a Spirit Leech, but of course, it being able to heal itself, it should be able to heal through that without too much trouble. We are going to counter with our own Spirit Leech on the enemy Hex Wraiths here. Probably not going to do anything crazy to them, but, well, probably better than the physical damage we deal. Unfortunately, our Lord, and this was sort of an oversight on my part, our Lord here does not have magical damage. I probably should have given him a temporary weapon to enable him to dish out magical damage, but hopefully we can overcome. Manny is flying overhead and looks to be about landing, where we're committing our elite units to this pile. It looks like the enemy is doing the same. Manny is actually going to drop down on Jurgen. We're going to move our Cairn Wraiths to the back to hit the enemy Hex Wraiths, together with our piles of ghouls to hopefully poison everybody here. All of our other units are simply engaged, and they're going to try their best to hold ground. It looks like the enemy's also dropped its aerial units on top of both our corpse carts, Hex Wraiths, or not Hex Wraiths, Fellbats here and Vargheists here, but we can simply surround them with piles of skeletons and zombies and all that. This flank, though, is probably in trouble. We have no elites here, just zombies and regular skeletons, and they're going to have to do their best to hold ground. Might even move our corpse cart there just to keep them alive that little bit longer. Gonna be pretty interesting. We'll see if we can pull this off. Alright, back to it. Manny versus Jurgen, plus the elites fighting around them. Well, let's see what we can accomplish. Of course, Jurgen will be using his Spirit Leeches on spam, but I suppose Manny can do the same thing, so we're somewhat evenly matched in some ways. Minus, of course, that he's a much higher level and has buffs and a better army. But we have the numbers. And classical vampire counts doctrine means numbers, well, the numbers count for quite a bit. Alrighty, ghouls are certainly working it. There is a Spirit Leech coming down on Manny, who's thus far unhurt, but our units aren't actually focused on him right now. As we can see, they're obliterating this unit of Black Knights. It's actually probably more critical to kill the enemy elites than it is to kill Manfred himself. It would be nice if we can, but if we kill the rest of his units, he's not going to stick around. He's not unbreakable. And his units are probably going to be a lot easier to kill him. A, B, they don't have the mass to simply run away like he does. Love that Kemrian fortress in the background as well. Alrighty, let's see what we're working with. First of the enemy Black Knights units is just about done, and so are the Hex Rates, in fact. So our Karen Rates, with their magical damage, are certainly paying for themselves. I'm glad that we got at least one unit here that does magical damage, or we would have had to work a lot through Spirit Leeches to do damage to those X-Rays. Granted, they would have died over time anyway, and of course our regular zombies and skeletons would have overwhelmed them, but nonetheless it would have taken a while. Like here, the enemy Hex Wraiths, or Karen Wraiths rather, have taken basically no damage whatsoever fighting skeleton warriors, whereas the enemy Black Knights are taking damage, conversely. So that massive amount of physical resistance is still certainly working for them. I do wish that we had a single Mortis engine to help us out, but, well, the zombies and the skeletons are still holding, and the corpse carts do remain alive, so we were able to protect them from those flying units, and thus all of our zombies and skeletons will be able to get their Vigor Mortis and their Reliquary Binding. Unholy Lodestone, rather. Reliquary Binding is the Mortis engine version. And it looks like Manny does not want to fight our elites anymore, moving away from that blob and instead going into our main line. I think this is because all but one unit of Black Knights were dead, and thus we could start surrounding Manny, and he had started to take damage, dropping by about 30-ish, maybe 25-ish%. This also, however, means that most of the elites on this side, or on this flank of the enemy army, have been broken. One did try to run away, but we did manage to catch it between a unit of Crypt Ghouls and our single unit of Dire Doggos, and it looks like this unit will die as well. Alrighty, making some headway here. Down go the Black Knights. And Manfred has buffs for Black Knights and Graveguard, unless I'm mistaken. Or I could be confusing it with SFO. Per a comment in one of the recent episodes, yeah, when you have so much experience with SFO, you start to get very confused as to what things were from SFO and what things were from vanilla. Not to worry though, we will be doing a lot of SFO campaigns throughout Warhammer 3. Alrighty, well, looks like one more Black Knight unit remains here, together with a Graveguard unit as well, but now our elites are moving in, the Crypt Horrors and the Karen Wraiths, plus a little bit of help from the ghouls and stuff to dish out the damage. These guys have been pushed to the anvil of our skeleton warriors and should be destroyed as they're hit in the back. They're debilitated, they're poisoned, they're frostbitten, so that they can't get away. 43 speed on those Black Knights is a little bit unfortunate for them. Lovely. Over here, as I was talking about early in the battle, the corpse cart has been moved to where it will protect or buff up the piles of skeletons and zombies, and just to continue holding this flank. Huh. Honestly, I think that the dark, this might actually look cooler when it's in the dark than when it's like this. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think it's a nicer shot, mostly because of the glow of the units. Like, that looks pretty great in my opinion. But anyway, these guys are certainly working through our lines, but, well, we're still holding, and on top of that, any extra units from the main line have been withdrawn to hit the enemy in the back, and they are now surrounded. Our single unit of Fellbats is doing the same, mostly to just annoy the enemy, but also to prevent them from going anywhere, as it would be difficult to move through such a mass of bats and zombies at the same time. Looks like the Black Knights here are starting to crumble apart under assault by our Cairn Wraiths and our Crypt Horrors, plus our Lord. And I do imagine that the Graveguard are going to follow suit shortly as well. Manny's still fighting there, but as we can see, we are still hitting him with all the Spirit Leeches we can. In fact, I've been foregoing using Invocation of Nehek in favor of using Spirit Leeches on Manny, as otherwise it would be difficult to bring him down, considering the disparity in levels, if nothing else. And he's gonna get a zombie dragon breath right into the middle of our pile of skeletons and zombies, but it's not looking like it's going to achieve much simply by virtue of the fact that we have numerical superiority. In fact, speaking of superiority, looks like the balance of power has very slightly shifted in our favor. Now, the balance of power, while the balance of power means something, unfortunately the troop counts don't mean much since the enemy started off somewhat damaged. Looks like Manny has also started to land back into the fray here and is now completely surrounded by Crypt Horrors and by all of our elites. He looks like he called for help, and the Vargulf moved from the center of the battlefield to move around and try to help him, so we are going to try to countercharge that with skeletons just to distract it and prevent it from helping Manfred out. There go the skeletons. Come on, distract that Vargulf. Good, good, good. And there we go. Now the Vargulf ain't helping, and the zombies and the skeletons can keep it distracted, while Manny continues taking damage and has already dropped below lower than half HP. We also had to move our Cairn Wraiths back. They started to take damage, and I wanted to get their shields back up, so now that they're back, we're good. Now that we do have the barrier on Hex Wraiths and Cairn Wraiths, it is nice that we can just move them out of the fray, allow them to get their barrier back up, also heal them since they have an increased healing cap by virtue of being ethereal units, and then we can continue fighting with them. Though I still prefer them the old way. And the SFO way, speaking of SFO. Alrighty, Manny, are you healing yourself with an Invocation of Nehek? Yes, indeed you are. You've also used Unbreakable, the potion of foolhardiness, to try to stay in the fray, but you have reached your healing cap now and are below at 2,000 HP. He's probably going to try to get the heck out of here. We are going to give chase, continue attacking him with those Cairn Wraiths, which are providing that frostbite, and in addition to that poison, his speed is dropped down to 41 as well, so he's not nearly as quick as he was either. And this is going to make or break the battle most likely, but it does look like we are continuing to move the balance of power in our favor. The enemy is still fighting us in the center here, but it's Graveguard and Skeletons versus piles of the same, well, minus the Graveguard. But it looks like the enemy Black Knights have finally been overwhelmed. The sheer numbers have told, and the elites are all dying everywhere, and Manfred looks to be about to follow suit. And it looks like over on this side, the Cairn Wraiths will be the last units on the field. I like how both armies brought a single unit of Cairn Wraiths, though the enemy had Hex Wraiths as well. Alrighty, and Manny's trying to get the heck out of there. And we just keep on chasing him, trying to prevent him from doing so. We've also moved one of our Corpse Guards here to help us out a little bit as well. Not to do damage, of course, but to provide that Vigor Mortis, and to keep everybody nice and healthy while Manny hits them back. And he is surrounded once again. But not for long, as he finally drops, and I do believe the battle is ours. The Vargulf, as usual, the last thing on the field, but with the enemy main line crumbled, it's no longer a threat. Beautiful. Oh wow, the Crypt Horrors have enough mass to knock a Vargulf back? That's kind of surprising. Considering the Vargulf has, like, probably many times the mass. But either way, it won't matter because it crumbles apart and the battle is ours. One more failure, it looks like, for Manny, and one more victory for our ghoulish little friends. Alrighty, looks like it's another day for ghoulish victories as Manny fails yet again to our temporary ghoul man here. And he got 2 levels out of that, though honestly I feel like you probably could have deserved more considering he was at level 24 and with a much more elite stack than yours. We are going to, I guess, take the money. And this army will be alive, and did they siege it immediately after fighting, or did they move away somewhere? Oh yeah, he did move away, okay. Okay, oh wow, there's only 72 factions left alive. Interesting. I wonder how many will be alive by the end. Oh wow, and my computer's having a tough time loading the map as well. Oh man. And let's see, Manny, you are now in march stance, and I don't know where you're going. I don't know. Huh, there's another... Wait, where did you come from? Huh, and what is this? Did you just siege Bathilda to prevent her from healing, knowing that you have absolutely no chance against her army? Yeah, the AI has an annoying tendency to do that, doesn't it? But oh well, we can capitalize on that fairly quickly. Now, Bagar has been besieged. Oh yeah, that's where Bathilda is. Kemri has been destroyed for good. Ambusher discovered. We got another treasure for Jurgen, and he's defeated, Manny as well, not that we care about that. Argolon's building an outpost, a tech thief is back up and running. I didn't even realize there was a dead one. Well. You can move to Altdorf. Or Altdorf. Castle Drakenhof. And there we go, and oh, you're on your corpse cart as well. Let's take that away from you, shall we? Alrighty, beautiful. Now, I mean, we are out of time, but I just want to quickly see, would we be able to finish up with Reichland? It doesn't look like it, unfortunately. We still need 1, 2, 3, 4, and we just can't get to all of them in one go. Close defeat. Okay, we'll have to manually fight that. I guess that'll be something for next episode. Waldekir was going to be a temporary lord, but now he's doing work, so I guess we'll possibly keep him around. Where does Yos? Maybe we'll have you go after Gorcel while Vlad moves up to Arnau and possibly Wrecker's Point as well. Looks like our allies aren't at war with these guys, and Be'lakor. He is making his way downtown. Oh. Wait, would he be able to reach Dirk if Dirk ran here? I'm not sure. Huh. I kind of don't like that. Can Be'lakor use the teleportation stance? Maybe. Well, if Dirk dies, Dirk dies. Well, he's immortal anyway, but we need to go to the Tower of Crack and possibly defend it against Be'lakor. Also, how many turns until we can declare war on you? 3 turns, alright. We'll be doing that as well again, because now we have a lot of Blood Knights around, and look, Throg's got himself a decent little stack that I'm sure we would enjoy destroying. You can have Grayling Moot as well, or do we raise it? I don't remember why I was raising these things. I guess that's because we can't really give them to any of our allies. We could pick it up and then abandon it. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, or wait, are we even able to? Let's find out. And just real quick here. And, okay. Wait, they have troops? I didn't even realize they had troops. Are you able to occupy this? Yes. Okay, just occupy it, we'll abandon it. And we got another Trickster Shard, huh? I wonder if that was tied to the battle or tied to our occupying the place. I would imagine it's battle. Doomkeep. I was going to abandon you. But you're a nice settlement if we were to potentially give it to somebody. The problem is we need somehow to get our allies here. I wonder if we were to order Kislev up here, they would probably do it. The only problem with that is I don't want them to get distracted from this. And this looks like they're doing good. And ooh, Archaon has also set sail, so that's something for Ermaine to do. She's gonna need more troops. Anyway, unfortunately with that we're out of time, but it looks like there's gonna be some interesting times. Are you still not dead? These guys have been sieging Nikari with a full stack. It's gotta be for at least 10 turns. All of the garrison has died to attrition. I'm not sure that Nikari can actually die to attrition. It's so bizarre. This really needs to stop. I wonder if it's in any way tied to our having vassalized these guys. Maybe they're considerably less effective because of it. But anyway, next time we continue working on the destruction of Manny's faction, see if we can accomplish that, but he's probably going to continue running. Looks like New Musk has been taken by these guys, so we're gonna have to try to trade them something for it. But otherwise, Bathilda's gonna get her first battle against the forces of Xeenshan. Well, we're going to be starting to take their territories as well anyway, on the way down south to get stuff from the Drakenhof Conclave. In addition to that, we will have our first battle against Wulfric here, who's stupidly in march stance and will thus get obliterated by the artillery that Peter has, and it looks like Gorst is coming here to do the exact same thing. Well, these guys really don't seem to like Peter, but, well, Peter, I'm sure, will give them a warm welcome. So anyway, stay tuned for more Vamps. Still plenty to do as we try to destroy the Caravan of Blue Roses and finish up with Manny for the ultimate victory, as well as the final ultimate destruction of the forces of Reichland. And don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, whatever else I may usually normally say. And thanks for watching. This guy's dead as well.